The Apocalyptic Nightmare Journey is available now, and there's a certain process for this to come out correctly, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, pardon me, there's a lot of things involved in this. I mean, number one, the Polaroids need to be represented correctly. There's no Photoshop to this. So the only thing that we really did that's different than the Polaroid itself is that I did want to enlarge them so you could so you could get the detail. They're smaller, and just to put them on a small page, you really wouldn't be able to see all that manipulation of the chemicals. So we did enlarge them to bigger pages, and because we were scanning them, you lose kind of a resolution because of the glass. So we had to use a little contrast, make the blacks black, make the whites whites, and then we left it alone. And so there's, a lot of people I think are confused. They open it up and they just think, man, you're making crazy stuff. But, the whole idea, besides the making of the book, the pressing, the people that are in, John Wiederhorn used to work for Revolver. He writes for Spin, good friend, big metalhead, comes to shows, great guy. I asked him to write the introduction to the book, and then he would write introductions to every chapter. Then I write an introduction to every chapter, but I end up kind of writing like Dr. Seuss or something, and people are like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. and then after the chapter, I title every page, which has a picture on it, and they're just ongoing sentences. It's like I look at the picture, I remember the time, and then I let all my feelings about that time and where I'm at now, and I just let it all out, and that becomes the title. And some titles are 30 words, and then it all came together with Lars Ulrich at an art show called Master, that you were supposed to use a Metallica song to inspire you to make a piece of work, and it was done by a bunch of skateboarder guys, and I got invited, and I made a piece dedicated to the song Damage Incorporated because it was really my first imprint. I was very surprised that I got it. I think a lot of people want to get a little more obscure, and so they want to stay away from that song. And I was like, well, I don't care. That's the tune I love.
I love that tune.
And there's a line in the song, blood will follow blood, and it made me think of one of my favorite movies, Apocalypse Now. Mm-hmm. And there's a part where Marlon Brando weeps because all these inoculated arms got cut off. So I made this piece. It's too hard to explain, but the band came, and I had asked Lars in South America on September 25th this last year. We played Brazil, Rock in Rio, yep. Direct support for them, 150,000 people. I'd asked him, hey, man, would you write a foreword to my book? Because he loves art, collects art, makes art, is an artist. He's a peer, he's a mentor, he's a legend. And I wanted to connect with someone that may understand what I'm going through. So he came to the art thing, and he waited for me to talk to me last. My piece is like 7 foot tall. It's got rotting deer heads on it, and he was just he wanted, when we talked in September, he wanted to write something sporadic, something in the moment. But then after coming to the show, he went deeper, and what he wrote pretty much brought me to tears. That this genius in this genius band would, I guess, as weird as it sounds, give me the time of day mm-hmm. to talk about art. And so everything happens for a reason. So the process, besides the printing and all this stuff that goes into it, I guess maybe I waited 3 years just to have him help explain me, And one thing I like to say is, I'm an MTV baby. I don't really watch it anymore, don't have time, not really interested in a lot that goes on with it. But I was there the first day it came on, mm-hmm. Buggles, Video Killed the Radio Star. I was there playing it in front of the TV every day, and I'm on MTV Press, So, I mean, it's just a dream come true, It's my art, it's an insight to my brain, why I do what I do. It's on MTV, publishing press, and it's like, Lars Ulrich's doing a forward, a good friend, John Wiederhorn, and it's just, I got all these chapters from my family to Slipknot guys to real obscure stuff that you look at it, you're like, that's just a stain, and it's just, man, I can't say how just, I'm just ecstatic that I could actually fulfill another dream and make something back in my brain be tangible. You know, I have the Polaroids all in a box, but I can't necessarily share them with everyone. You know, they're original. And what I'd like to say real quick is that the whole philosophy, and besides the printing and all that stuff, what it really comes down to is this, is that there's nothing perfect in the world, and everybody's looking for the perfect thing, keeping their options open, and they're looking for perfection, and they're trying to perfect everything that cannot be perfected. So I would shoot Polaroid, and I would destroy them. I would manipulate them, from urinating on them, to throwing them in a microwave, keeping them outside in the snow overnight, anything you could think of, pushing my thumbprints for my fingerprints to be on it, you know, pulling the Polaroid, turning it upside down, pushing as hard as I could. So when people look at it, they think it's a double exposure. Like I turned the camera over and did it. It's not. I pulled the print off, turned it, and pushed to make it come out, or I'd slide it. So the idea was, by deconstructing this idea of the imprint of all of us searching for something perfect, I just went with this deconstruction, demanufacturing this imprint of life. And what happened was, by doing that, I created something original, something that could never be recreated again, not even by myself. And yes, you can take a picture of it. Yes, you can scan it, but you cannot recreate it. I cannot recreate it. And that ended up being perfect for me.
That's so cool. And now you can go to any bookstore or eventually a library, and now you can search by the last name Crahan, and there it is.
Yeah, I loved MTV's slogan. They're like, available June 19th, wherever books are sold. And I just thought, man, that says a lot. I just love that. You know what I mean? Yep. So, you know, it's going to be there. It's going to be around, and it's going to be around for a long time. And, you know, it's cool. It really makes me feel good, man. It's an accomplishment. You know?
Leaving a legacy of a different kind here, you know, because you've certainly left your legacy in terms of music and then in things you've done with film and things like that. But now you have a published work, a physical body of work, and there it is. And like you said, original, it's yours. You know?
It's mine. And I'm an only child, so it's hard to share. And, but, you know, I'm only one piece of a 9-man band, you know, and the pieces are only as good as the whole. And I've had to learn to share. I have 4 kids, been married 19 years this month. And, you know, I've always wanted that. I've always wanted to break out of that shell, that only child stuff. And however, this book is very fulfilling, because I really had a lot of, this is when I'll use the word control, over getting this vision out the way that I saw it for me. And it's not about being better or worse. It's just different than what I do with everything else. So when I hold it, it's kind of a revelation to me, because it's a lot of hard work to foresee something in the brain and actually bring it out and look at something and go, that's what I was thinking. And now to have the ability to share it is like all I ever wanted, man. You know, with music and all art, it's all I've ever wanted to do, is just talk with people. And you know, people can hate it. I don't care. They can burn it, whatever. You know, it's you know, 1 out of 30 kids in a classroom worships art, but how many worship sports? Big number. Mm-hmm. You know, so I'm kind of the underdog. You know, and it's what I want to do. It's what I was born to do, and hopefully I get many more opportunities to make other books, because I have 10 books ready right now, you know, because I've been working for a long time, man. If you came in my basement, it's information overload. I mean, it's disorganized, but it's organized. It's just because it's disorganized because there's so much. You can't handle it. You just come down, there's, you know, 60 hard drives full of photos, and you're just like, man, you need to get organized. I'm like, well, this is the best I can do. I just fill up these hard drives, and I got to get another one. And, you know, so hopefully, you know, this does good and people like it. And hopefully people ask me to just keep going, you know, and I can just keep giving you more hallways into my brain.
Like you said, it's a long hallway, my friend.
It is. It's a scary one too. I don't know. I don't know if you want to be in it, you know. So I try to run a My son, Gage, he came up with a song. He's starting to sing, and I'm really proud of him for doing what he's doing. But he wrote a song called Wallace Halls. And I thought to myself, that's everything I am. I mean, it's his. It's all his. But when he said it, I was like, man, that is everything I am. And I didn't want to tell, he's 18 and he's hanging out with his 18-year-old friends. And I didn't want to tell him what it meant. And then when I got out of the car, or when they got out of my car, I'm like, Wallace Halls. I'm like, get it done. And they looked at me and they're like, lost. And I was like, they get it, and that's what it means to me, is I'm lost in my own brain, man. And then I stopped the car and I looked at him like, start hanging some drywall, we got to get away from this being lost stuff, But that, I have been just walking around my subconscious, just trying to figure it out. I got about 6 voices attacking each other at all times. And, the book represents commitment and output.